All right, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning, whatever it is for you. Welcome to Speed Gaming 5 for some more ALTTPR League Season 2 playoff action. My name is Tyler Salt, and I'm here with Worldwide Wimpy. How are you doing, Wimpy?
I'm doing excellent. How are you doing today, Tyler?
I'm doing just fine. It's better than work. We are here for a Game 2 between the last location, represented by Linlinlin and Thalane, respectively. This will be a hype match, folks. This is the courage matchup between these two teams. That means they are playing a pretty standard open seed. Need a new word for that because standard means something. But this is an open seed, open 7-7 defeat Ganon. Nothing weird going on. Error 216 up 1-0 in this best of 5 series. I'm really looking forward to this. These are two excellent runners.
Yeah, we got two of the higher end performers in both random and in NMG runs, so we're going to be seeing some really quick action, especially for a standard open seed. Nothing too in the way of variance in the seed, so should be in here for about 80 to 90 minutes of quick rando action.
Looking forward to it. We've got Ike here behind the scenes pushing buttons for us. Thank you in advance to Ike here. We should be underway here momentarily.
Now, these two teams did match up yesterday with Air 216 taking the victory in the best of 3 of 5 here. So as we continue on, Air 216 getting that second victory today will put them in a very, very good position. Of course, this is the finals for the division here. This is the finals of the Misery Mire division out of the Dark World Conference. It happened to be the conference I was playing in with my team. We ended up in last place, but that's okay. We had pretty good teams up here as we get ready to go. As we see the very similar start between Linlinlin and Thalane, starting in the Sanctuary, finding a pack of 3 bombs inside.
And we got a map check right away. Looks like we had a green pendant at Desert, a red pendant at Eastern, and a regular old crystal up at Tower of Hera.
Thalane going up top here, just short of the Lumberjacks to see what the tree pull is going to be. See if we get a Lumberjack check as well.
Looks like it. Nothing useful from that Tier 1 tree pull or from the Bush Crab Hearts and Arrows, respectively. Thalane giving us a look at the Lumberjack Ledge. It's a big 20. Won't be seeing that again. You like to see bombs. You start a Sanctuary, you'd like to see some bombs up here in the Lost Woods, so you don't need to farm them or save and quit down to Link's house to farm down there before you headed into Kakariko Village. Always nice.
Luckily, we did have that 3-pack inside of Sanctuary as well, so our players have plenty of explosions on them.
Always important to make sure that you have the proper number of explosions.
Both of our runners picking up that 20 rupee inside the Thief's Den of Lost Woods. We will need a few more rupees before we can check our turbaned friend for what is a vanilla bottle location in the regular game.
All right, Lin making his way into Kakariko proper here and to Blind's hut. So far, just some cash. There's a small shield and more arrows. So we're gonna need something real here before too long. There's something real, an early flute. really like to see that early flute here right in Kakariko. You can activate it right away, and then it opens up your routing possibilities quite a bit here in the early.
Yeah, there's literally one spot that is a better location for that flute, and that is our bottle vendor inside of town.
Yeah, literally, you're right next door to it there. You know, obviously not too much of a difference there. But when I get early flute, I like to, we'll see if anybody does this. Other runners do this. I get early flute, I like to take it to 6 as soon as I'm done with the Kakariko checks. Check the Desert Ledge and Agina, because otherwise those can get those can get pretty orphaned pretty early on. So we'll see if either runner does that.
So we get a check from the bottle merchant. He's got 10 arrows for us. And 07's out in the chat for our magical, majestical, magnificent space duck. He will take you anywhere in Hyrule as long as it is labeled with a number 1 through 8.
It's like a carrier pigeon that has only been trained to go to certain places, you know?
As we get a look inside another of a bird-friendly area, the chicken hut. Just single arrow. Those chickens were guarding that arrow of destiny. Inside the back of the tavern, we've got ourselves 20 more rupees. Unfortunately, no bottle to check in on the poor bug-catching sick child. I'll have to come back later for that, possibly.
Yeah, other than that flute, just a whole lot of nothing down here in Kakariko Village.
Yeah,
I
wouldn't be surprised to see both runners blind pull race game at this point when you've only gotten one possible progression item in Kakariko. It just odd state that something's on race ledge here. Might as well blind pull it. But Linlinlin's just gonna give a little peek and walk back if it's something. It's just a piece of heart.
Lynn headed to the dam next. We'll see what we have here down on the south shore. We have another piece of heart. I'll make another trip in.
Now, both of our runners have the minimum amount of bombs to go ahead and do all of South Shore. Ideally, the minimum amount you want is 5, if you can get a double kill on the mini Moldorms. But 6 should be more than enough to cover yourself going through.
Thalane decided to go at this from the other direction, fluting to 8 and checking out Ice Rod Cave as Lin picks up a bunch of wet money there at the dam.
Cold wet cash.
Cold wet cash. Yeah, we'll be seeing our runners cross here at some point. Thalane picks up a nice half magic there in Ice Rod Cave.
As we see Linlinlin enter into that mini Moldorm cave. You've got 4 little worms to kill. We've got bombs to use it in. Linlinlin decides to eat one of the explosions to get 1 for sure. Ooh, and the worms are dropping bombs as well, so gonna get a nice little refill on top off here.
Yeah, that's absolutely nice to get that. So we got 10 arrows, some blue mail, the lamp, some more arrows, and some bombs. So again, not much here. You got to think, you know, there's really not much here in mini Moldorm Cave. There wasn't much in Kakariko. You know, our runners are probably thinking now Saha and the eastern area maybe. Lynn's going to go get his half magic there out of Ice Rod Cave. We'll see where Thalane heads next.
If I was either runner with that lamp, I would be considering escape at the moment. That's you know you've found 1 item already. You're only going to be finding a small key in a map. That's 5 items you can find, depending upon if you have enough of a bomb explosion stack to get on through with bombs. As
yeah,
you see Thalane doing that.
5 bombs is not enough on its own to be able to pull off escape unless you are, I think, very, very good. There's a reason the uncle gives you 10 at the beginning in a bomb start in standard. So we'll see if the uncle has anything useful here. Heart container, so that's nice to have, but not going to help right away. Lin is headed up the mountain with that lamp. Got 2 checks up here that you'll be able to do, plus check in on a 3rd one, as Thalane finds a sword in the secret passage. Escape now very much in Thalane's plan.
Yes, and unfortunately for Thalane, he did not do mini Moldorm Cave, so he's not going to have the ability with that lamp to go through, but both of these runners are more than skilled enough to go ahead and do dark rooms without that lamp. Just Linlinlin is going to have the fortunate ability to see in the dark, versus Thalane for the moment not.
There's a magic cape at the old man, which I gotta say, now one dark wizard is in logic.
Yeah,
Lin is fluting away instead of going up to do those that sanctuary rock check. That's interesting.
Yeah, with lamp and cape this early, you have 2 light world pendant dungeons. Aga is very much screaming at both of these runners once they do get that compilation of items.
Yeah, you never want to see like the first couple of progression items you get be the sword, the lamp, and the cape. Not great. As Lin is going to show us what the old man has in his closet today. Some money, some more money, and the hammer. There you go.
So I would imagine Linlinlin is not going to be far behind in checking escape now with that hammer. Going to find that sword inside the chest in the Uncle Well.
That's exactly what Lin's doing here as well. So far, not much in escape proper. Thalane making it down to Zelda's cell here.
Now, interesting enough, Thalane deciding to go ahead and do Zelda's cell here. I figured it was a possibility that he might steal the key and orphan off this check. But good thing, because he's got the flippers.
Yep, there are the flippers there. He decides to save and quit rather than a death warp to maybe check Dark Cross in the dark there. And he's got his flute out now. We'll see where he's.
And just to remind you folks, you can follow both of our runners by hitting the !R command inside of Twitch chat. You will find links to both of their Twitch channels. Go ahead and give them a follow, as they are trying to put on the best of shows for all of us to enjoy.
And as we mentioned at the top, if you're not familiar with these two, they are both just excellent rando players. So make sure you give them a follow for sure.
And also to our unsung hero of broadcasting Link to the Past Randomizer, our tracker today, Enkir, who's doing a wonderful job keeping up with both of our excellent runners. As Thalane goes through the dark cave with the old man, he's just going to find a cape. Let's see if he goes up to Spectacle Rock to see what's inside and top. It looks like he's heading there. As we see Linlinlin progress through the front part of Escape. It will be interesting to see if Linlinlin decides to take that Death Warp and head through Dark Cross.
I would think, you got the lamp. That's never going to get easier to do than it is right here. The blue mail may be going to make it a little bit slower to get the Death Warp, but I think you do it right away. Look like we saw some money up on a Sanctuary Rock, and there's the Moon Pearl that Lin left up there on the mountain without even checking.
Wow, that's hard luck for Linlinlin. If you just go up there, you get your Moon Pearl, then you go, hammer Moon Pearl. Perhaps I don't have to do anything with Aga 1. And you might risk dipping into, going into Hera with that hammer if you find Hookshot, or go into Eastern.
Yeah, that's interesting. You got to think that, Lin is right here at Escape. You could potentially see him death warping and just making the gamble, the early Aga gamble here. Obviously, Lin, before going up there, wanted the mirror or the hook shot to be able to get everything up there, but is going to take that death warp and check Dark Cross. So I was about to bring up that Thalane hadn't gone to mini Moldorm cave, which I thought was odd, but he is going to go do that now.
Yeah, it's good routing here. You're going to be able to jump off to the right after doing mini Moldorm cave to go ahead and do your flippers checks as well. We know there's plenty of rupees inside of mini Moldorm, so getting over to our fish-faced friend who may have life lessons for us is more than possible. As we see that Dark Cross check, it's some magical powder. That puts our batter into logic with the hammer and gives some safeties over for Linlinlin as we see a peek over onto Lake Hylia Island, and it's a sword. So we know where at least one upgrade is.
Lynn's gonna go check out that magic bat check right now here as we get some bombs from the hobo. I don't know how much I like a dude living under a bridge with some explosives. That doesn't seem safe.
As we see Thalane head over to Desert here, sees 100 roops on the Desert Ledge. You're going to be checking Agina here. We know the hammer is in Sasra's closet, so if he finds gloves here, we know we don't really have to do Aga at all.
Magic bat, a big ol' fake out with just 5 rupees there.
And the hermit inside the cave desert, he's going to see you blow up his wall. He's probably going to be a little angry about it, but, you know, sometimes he has something good in his closet. Let's see what he's got. 50 bucks. Linlinlin's going to see the same thing. 100 on the ledge, 50 bucks inside of Agina's cave.
Yeah, Thalane headed over to the eastern area here, is going to get his hammer from Saha's closet. The question then remains, is he going to take a dip into Eastern Palace, giving us the last couple checks there that are well, he hasn't been up to Zora yet. Although Zora, yeah, that's all in logic up there. So we'll see which one of our racers is the first one to head up that way. Is the answer going to be Zora? Is it going to be Eastern Palace? We shall see.
As Thalane picks up his Zora money and a hammer, he's one piece away from Dark World access and ignoring that evil wizard at the top of the tower. As Linlinlin heads up to go see that hobo under a bridge, gonna find he has some explosions. Maybe that's why he's hiding underneath the bridge. He has a deadly case of explosions.
You definitely don't want to see that. Something we do want to see here is Waterfall Ferry. Thalane finds a piece of heart and some bombs there. So he will continue on.
So we've got 2 more checks to make here that we don't know of. It's the Zora Ledge, which has a piece of heart, and Zora himself. We know Moon Pearl is inside of Spectacle Rock. That's the only difference between our runners at the moment. Will be interesting to see if Linlinlin decides to go check that before doing Aga Tower if Zora is nothing.
Zora's in logic, unless they got the flippers. Oh, I know. No, those flippers were somewhere. No, the flippers were down in Zelda. So that's in logic. Fine.
Yeah. Yeah, and unfortunately, neither of our runners were able to do the back of escape. There's nothing else in logic for them to do, so we're off to fight a wizard. The wonderful
they have
wizard.
neither of them's been in Eastern Palace yet. So that's our next play here, I would think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, neither of them went into the dip. They just went over into the closet. So we have a potential of 3 more items inside of Eastern.
Thalane setting up a Houlihan, and then perhaps forgetting that he has the flippers and can't do that. Looked like Lin did a full reset to get that money back.
Zelda cell is not gloves locked. It was in the front of escape. As it looks like Thalane's going to be heading into Dark Cross. We know with powder, which will lead him to bat, which will lead him to more rupees. Yes, but there are 2 guards that drop keys.
Yeah, but the key logic assumes that you're going to use your keys in the stupidest possible way.
Yes, the back is gloves locked, but Zelda cell would be in logic as long as you use your keys properly.
Well, yeah, but the logic assumes that you are not going to use your keys properly, is the thing. Right, because you could use the first key to open the next door, the first key that the guy in the map chest room drops. Then go to the boomerang room, take that key that guy drops, then go to the back.
Yeah, and then the back would have the key to Zelda cell.
I guess that's true, yeah.
But that would still be in logic because we had the lamp. As we see Thalane entering into Aga's tower here before doing an Eastern dip.
Lin is doing the same thing.
That's why I was saying that our Zelda flippers is in logic because we got the lamp. So, without the lamp, you would be absolutely correct. Possibly. As we see both of our runners pick up the small keys in chests here. 1.5 hearts here for Thalane, but Blue Mail makes these a little bit more tolerable with pokes and hugs with pokes. As we get basically asynchronous acid climbs here from both of our runners. Linlinlin approximately, what, a stairway climb away?
Yeah. The sync is real. We'll see how long it lasts. Yeah, Thalane is 1 red guard ahead. 2 hammer tinks ahead.
And now is a death away from being way behind. Fighter Sword is not fun in this tower.
No, it's not.
No hook shot, no fire rod, no bow to make this any easier.
Also, damn it, Thalane, with these beeps.
Well, he's
Why
getting
are
his
you like this?
He's getting his comeuppance with having bad pot throws.
That's true. Oh, thank God.
Our chat with an AGA 1 fight and the RNG the same. It's time to get in your blue balls gas. First shot is always an energy ball. Then 50-50 for the next three. We get lightning, and then we get back to our original switch.
So no blue balls, I think, on the first pass there. Now, in case you're not aware, the Aghanim patterns, just like the Ganon patterns, at least on the first try, are seeded, and so our runners will get the same pattern of energy balls and blue balls and the same movements.
And the correct answer was 2 blue balls for our runners in Aga Tower today.
Below average. I believe the average is 3, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, that's a blue pendant, Thieves Town, right crystals in Mire and Turtle Rock.
No anything useful there on the pyramid ledge. We'll see if Lynn heads south with the hammer or heads over towards pod. The answer is south. This makes sense. Going to head over towards Hype Cave here.
You could also loop in Dig Game and Stumpy here. Very easy checks to do with 4 hearts and Fighter Sword.
It should be fine. There's a Bombos medallion out of Hype Cave, a full heart container. The Sank heart container, I should say. The bug net, 10 arrows, and a boomerang. We continue on.
Solely because of that bug net, I give it a 12 out of 10 hype.
Yeah, it's the hypest Hype Cave I've ever seen, for sure. So many chest turns from these guys. Lynn gonna go buy some bombs from the bomb shop.
Yeah, Lynn was completely out of explosions, as that allows thalane to pull a little bit ahead in our synchronous run right here.
This is
Both
fantastic.
runners heading to Stumpy and Dig Game here momentarily.
Both of these runners probably feeling very smart that they skipped Eastern Palace, thinking that the other one was going to do it. That seems entirely likely to me, when, of course, we know that they are, like, 4 tiles apart from each other. Just fun.
Yeah, and just remember, even though we're in the playoffs, we can still have ties. In fact, we had one yesterday.
Yeah, a little early to be worrying about that, of course. But, yeah, absolutely.
Where Linlinlin had to buy bombs, thalane had to do Arrow Game to pick up some Rupums for Dig Game.
Low-key best music in the game.
And that was a hook shot on Dig Game. I would be
Ooh.
shocked to see Linlinlin not head up that mountain and go ahead and give a peek over to the east side.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tower Hera full clearable as well. The clear best decision at this point.
Now, I like Dig Game music, but I like the fortune teller music, though. Do-dee-do-dee-do-dee-dee-do-dee.
That one's good too.
Now, of course, both of our runners are going to have to deal with the deadliest of enemies, cabbages falling from the mountain, and dead rocks who are jerks. find an ether medallion in the bottom of Paradox Cave. Linlinlin heading up to the top, the switch room with the mini Moldorms.
Or the bottom, depending on your point of view.
Well, that's why it's called Paradox Cave, because the bottom exits you out in the middle, and the bottom and the top are weird and, you know, just strange.
There was a bottle there with free blue potion. That and the ether medallion so far. What we've got here is our runners, I'm sure, headed over to Tower Hera now.
I actually think Paradox Cave is an interesting way to give a 3D effect on a 2D plane, because if you think about it, the bottom of Paradox Cave could technically be a higher elevation than the middle, which is kind of in a valley. So I think it's a purposeful design choice by the team to give you a little bit of a pseudo 3D effect.
I like it. I like the way that you think, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.
I have a blog about it. You can watch my YouTube videos on game theories. Oh wait, somebody's already taken that.
Yes, and as we know, there's only allowed to be one YouTube video on any given topic. Well, there was a bow up there on the floating island. So we're gonna might need that. We'll see if that's our bow or whether it's our silvers in line.
Now with that hookshot, that does allow both of our runners to go ahead and do the Herapod, as it looks like our big key is down inside of the basement. So we find a mushroom inside this first arena chest.
And with that one item that you got here, that does open up the possibility that it makes it perhaps more likely that you're going to be able to skip the big chest. Which you're kind of forced to do if you Herapod without the big key. So we shall see if it pays off.
We'll see if Thalane takes that choice as well with the Herapod. It looks like he's going to kill this moldy. Avoid the bombs for the moment.
Yeah, I recently learned that was a thing. That you have to wait until the drop touches the ground before you can get up there. So it's important to know. And we found the book in the other chest on the first floor, or on the third floor. So no big key, no basement required here in Tower Hera.
And that's a fortunate spot to find a book. We're going to be able to go outside, check a tablet real quick to see what it is. We can't get it, of course. And ooh, Moldorm with the hug pushes Linlinlin off.
Classic Moldorm. Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, there's nothing much you can do. He is the most random RNG affected enemy here. There are little tricks you can do. His tail always follows where the head goes, but sometimes he likes to be an aggressive boy, and sometimes he likes to be an ultra passive boy. Ooh.
Oh no, Lin, no.
As Thalane gets down his Moldorm in one attempt. It seems like Moldorm's easy, but he's not. Sometimes he just likes to push you and give you hugs, and and that's bad.
Lin has no use for holding out his sword. Moldorm 3, Lin 0 now at this point. If you hold out your sword as you're charging a spin, Moldorm cannot hit you off the platform if he hits you from that direction. There's the other bow there on the tablet. So yeah, there we go.
So one bow is mirror locked, the other bow is master sword lock. We know where one of the sword upgrades is, which happens to be mirror locked. So
yeah, so we're gonna have to certainly head back up here at some point to grab probably one of those. Probably not both, I would say. It's probably not worth silvers to do that loop through Hookshot Cave. Maybe it is.
I would imagine if either of our runners are going to pick up silvers from that tablet, which is where I'm going to assume they're going to get their first bow, it's probably going to be looped in with doing Ganon's Tower. It's probably going to depend upon if they're both having Master Swords, so...
Yeah, that's true. If they find a tempered sword, they're probably gonna not gonna make that trip through through Hookshot Cave to get that other bow. But if they have Master Sword, if for no other reason than just quality of life, you might see them get it.
As we get a mushroom turn in here at the witch's hut, we'll see what we get from her concoction that she is brewing inside of that mortal pestle.
Hey,
It's a sword upgrade.
All right.
You get the mushroom inside of Herod to go back up to Herod to get the bow, because now that puts Pod completely into logic.
We'll see if Lynn goes and does that right away. There's not much else that you can do here at this point, so we might see that. Yep. Flame taking his powder and hammer. He's going to get that 5 rupees away from Magic Bat.
Unfortunately for Linlinlin, they've already made this check. I would be shocked to see if neither runner decides to head back up that mountain to get that tablet for the bow, because that opens up a 5-check crystal Palace of Darkness, and yep, that's where Linlinlin is heading right now. As Thalane's deciding to go back into Dark World into Pod, I'm assuming? Or maybe using the hook shot to go over to the Dark Village, which also isn't a bad play to make either.
I kind of like that. You know, you're putting off the Eastern Pod area, but you're gonna get just as many crystals out of. Well, you don't have a fire rod yet.
Yeah, that's the thing with that. With Thieves Town being a pendant, and you know where one of the bows is that you can get. It's a nice gamble to make. You know where the density is. This does have a lot more checks, but you know you're gonna have to go back up the mountain to get a bow anyway. So
Thalane is clearly hoping for to find both gloves before heading back up the mountain, trying to put off that bow until he can go up there and do the Dark Death Mountain checks when it would make more sense to go up there anyway. Lynn is going to get that bow and flute over to 4, and I imagine with that bow, having taken the time to get that bow, is going to go right into Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, in no way is Thalane's play a bad play. It's just sometimes logic tells you where you need to go, and you know, with 2 divergent routes you can take here, both are plausible options. You just hope you get lucky.
Yeah, if Thalane had the fire rod, you know, then I think this would be really, really close. But he's definitely gambling that he's going to be able to find both gloves over here. If we see Lynn find a glove in Pod, that'd be a big find for Lynn. Both bows are up on Death Mountain. Lynn got one of them. One of them's on the Ether Tablet. The other is on Floating Island. And Lynn made the extra trip back up there to grab the bow off the tablet, whereas Thalane did not.
As we have Kiki the Monkey, it requires 110 rupees for you to enter Pod. What's the conversion rate on rupees to bananas currently in Hyrule?
Can't say that I know. But Link does, like, if you cook with those bananas, regardless of how much it costs, they will make you stronger for a short period of time.
Finding a small key in the first chest of Pod is Linlinlin. With that bow and hammer and lamp, that does make pod full clearable, so I would expect to see lots and lots of checks here inside a pod. Because pod does also have the most amount of small keys out of any regular dungeon outside of Ganon's tower, so...
Yep, 6 keys in pod. 4 of them are guaranteed to be here in the front. There's our big key. Skullwood's coming up empty for Thalane. Looks like he's going to head down into the Village of Outcasts, dip into Thieves Town. Like full clear Thieves Town if he wants. It is a pendant. We'll see if he goes up all the way. I imagine no matter what, he's going to check those first 4 checks.
Linlinlin bombing that wall, heading over to the first of 2 mimic rooms, where you're going to have
Thalane's play getting bailed out a little bit as he finds the fire rod in the C-shaped house. And so if he wants, he can head up and take care of Mothula here. So it worked out for him a little bit.
Yeah, well, with that blue mail, he's got plenty of hearts, half magic with that fire rod.
And a blue potion, I believe, was in that bottle that they found in Paradox Cave. So we're on our way.
Yeah, should be more than completable for him. Not super fun with fighter sword. Should you need to do some swipes, but
no, you got the he's got the master sword. But you know, you got the hammer, you got the fire rod, you got a blue potion, plenty of firepower to take down the moth, especially for somebody of Thalane's caliber. Lin gambled that there was going to be a key in the vanilla big key chest. He was right, and he's gonna rush towards Helmasaur. This is a play that you see people doing more and more when they don't have the mirror coming in here to pod, because you'd be going to the back of pod and mirroring back anyway, and so makes sense then if you don't have the mirror to go do the boss first, who gives you a free mirror back to the front of pod.
As we're getting our Thieves Town checks here from Thalane, first 2 down, nothing so far for progression. I would imagine he's just going to be doing these 2 checks and piecing out should it not have anything important, or should it have anything important. Pendant Thieves Town's hard to argue doing a full clear of unless you really think there's something on pedestal.
But we found 1 item in the front, and it does see... Yep, Thalane's headed to the back.
Yeah, with only 1 item in the front, you know you got 3 in the back. You're hoping there isn't one on blind. But with this key logic, I would imagine that, or with the dungeon item logic, with only having the small key left in the pool, that blind probably has an item on it.
Chances are, yeah. 1 in 4 shot. 1 in 3 shot, really.
As we get some arrow strats from Linlinlin. Tried it with the hammer at first, and, you know, hugs are bad, so, you know, just shooting them with arrows, keeping good distancing on Helmasaur makes a lot of sense.
That's good dating advice. Hugs are bad, shoot them with arrows.
Is that why all my dates go wrong?
I think so, yes. Yeah,
you know, at one time I was an adventurer, but then I took an arrow to the knee, you know.
From your girlfriend or boyfriend, I don't know. You know, from someone you went on a date with, you were an adventurer, but then they shot you in the knee with an arrow, and that's just how you've organized your life for that. Thalane making the right choice, finding the magic mirror there in the back of Thieves Town.
Yeah, that now puts both of those bows in logic for him. Once he does find those Titan's mitts. Fortunately, he's got to have those 2 upgrades found sometime soon.
So far, pod coming up totally empty, aside from that crystal. We'll see if Lin finds anything else useful in here.
Now, if we do find an item here inside the chest of blind cell, I do believe that means the small key is locked inside of the big chest. It is the small key, so we're gonna have to go over there and take a peek anyway.
Lynn finds the ice rod in the dark maze. We are going to need that.
Just a piece of heart inside the big chest for Thalane, and Linlinlin's going to have to go over to check the big chest here of Pod, as he found the compass down in the bottom right, and
there's our first glove. Ooh.
No glove, no love. Well, Linlinlin, we got much love for you because you found that pair of gloves. So Linlinlin here is going to be going right over to the Dark Village, I would imagine, going to go take a peek into Thieves Town, Dark Village, perhaps dip into Skullwoods, and complete it once they find that fire rod inside of the Dark Village, as we see a masterful blind fight over on Thalane's side, staying right on script for a full heart container and a blue pendant.
Now the question is, are we going to see... Lynn's got the book out. Lynn is answering my question right now and is going to do a pedestal check.
Unfortunately for Linlinlin, this would have been looped in a little bit better after Thieves Town getting that mirror and finding Fire Rod, but
not a big
honestly,
deal.
Kind of thinking about it, this is no better time to go ahead and take a peek.
Yeah, I assume that we'll see Thalane get that same information once they make it back towards the back of Skullwoods, or maybe probably after they finish. But just couch cash today. Ped is dead. Long live Ped.
And what's funny about this seed is we still don't know if Aga was required by either of these runners because neither have gone into Eastern Palace yet.
That's true. If that other glove is in Eastern Palace, then both of these runners did Aga when they didn't really need to. Although, I wonder, I haven't timed this, but it's entirely possible that doing Aga is probably comparably time consuming than like getting all of the way to the vanilla big key chest in Eastern. But the chances that it's there are pretty low.
It depends upon your loadout. Their loadout of fighter sword, no bow, no fire rod, no stun item can be a little troublesome going up Aga, but both of these skilled runners had no problem doing it.
Yeah, I would have trouble doing that. These two, certainly not.
Lumberjack is nothing. So
nice fire rod shot there for Thalane into the space in between the block and the spike, and got a double hit when Mothula bounced right back out. It was very, very nice. Thalane takes down Mothula for a crystal, 50 rupees.
Yep, but I would imagine here Thalane's going to be checking that pad and then probably fluting the 4 to go into Swamp Palace. That is a full clearable crystal dungeon. He's got to go get Bo to get the gloves. That's right. That's true, yeah. He might do 4. He could still do Swamp Palace. He just has to use the portal that he opened up with Aga. Just a little bit more of a longer route to do it, but...
Well, I mean, he could walk down there from where he is.
Yes, he could do that too. I think it's faster, though, to flute the 4, walk up from the pyramid, and kind of route down. Then go back through Skullwoods.
They're pretty close either way.
Yeah, it's probably a 4 or 5 second difference. But he's going up the mountain to get the bow. Again, this makes perfect sense. It's just interesting that he decided to do it now. He decided to do the big brain play of Thieves Town to get that mirror. Like I said, you can full clear Swamp Palace. You know there's a sword upgrade on Hylia Island. You can loop that in and then go right over to Pod. So he might be getting the bow, then going to do Swamp to then loop in Pod. I think that's the way I would do it.
That makes sense, yeah. And in fact, oh, no, never mind. Sorry. No mitts. I was going to say Ice Palace right there while you're in the area, but no mitts to get in there.
Yeah,
so,
you need Titans for that, and we know one is in Pod, which is bow locked, so...
Right.
Well, it's not bow locked, but... You know where the bow is, you might as well complete it because it's a crystal dungeon, so...
Lin, smartly seeing that one item in the front, has headed into the back of Thieves Town. Going to get his mirror here momentarily.
So it'll be interesting to see if Linlinlin decides to mirror out once they do find the mirror here in the bombable floor room. We know there's nothing else in Thieves Town of consequence.
And Lin knew that that blind isn't required, but looks like Lin's going to continue on and finish out Thieves Town. Perfectly defensible.
Oh yeah, and you're going to find a little bit more defense in the items here. Thalane is going to go check K45 here first, it looks like, and then route back down to do Swamp Palace. Again, makes perfect sense. You can either go up through the pyramid or take the flippers around to go do Pod afterward. Just a piece of heart inside of K45. As it looks like Thalane's making his way up to Pod first.
No, he's headed to Swamp.
Okay,
he doesn't have a glove. He couldn't go the short way. So yeah.
Yeah, gotta take the long way. Yeah, this is good routing by Thalane. This is knowing your meta, knowing what dungeons you can do and how you can route them in.
Gonna check out Bombo's tablet even beforehand.
Yep. Because he knows if he finds one pair of gloves, he's gonna be right in the thick of this. As Linlinlin prepares for a very much scripted blind fight. 3 pokes to start. Kind of sit yourself off to the right-hand side there. Hold out a sword. Swipe twice. You're in phase 2. Going through phase 3. Kind of hang around the head. Just kind of swing at it. Eat those fireballs. And you've got yourself a dead blind. And Thalane making that play into Swamp Palace. Linlinlin more than likely going to be doing Skullwoods and then making their way to our very swampy area afterward. Now, we do know an item is on Mothman, and in the front, we know it's not of any importance with what those items are. So, if Linlinlin just decides to go do a moth and leave, that would be the best and smart thing. But, this being randomized, you never know what's inside any random chest, so we should expect a full clear.
Thalane finds the big key early on in Swamp Palace. Nice to know that you won't have to backtrack in order to get that.
Now, Thalane may be showing off some new tech. through what we call the diver down or holy diver glitch. He does not have red cane, but you can do it with bombs, where you kind of clip yourself 1 frame or 1 pixel into railings, and you're able to drown the key and save yourself, about 12 seconds of walking.
It's real nice. We'll see if thalane decides to do that on the first trip through to kind of check the. You can do it in 2 places. You can do it to skip the flooding animation in the back, and if you do it first, you can check left side without having to backtrack. But that only works if you do it the first time through, because you need to be able to steal that key in order to do it. So we'll see if thalane decides to do it. Probably will depend on whether he finds any more dungeon items here in this in these couple rooms.
Yeah, with already finding that big key, if you find a map or a compass here, compass in its vanilla location, I would imagine thalane's going to be going left here before finishing out the dungeon.
Yeah, you know there's going to be at least 1 item over there, and now you know that there are 2. So this is the clear best play here.
Alright, thalane going to be dropping down those pegs. Going to be taking the old speedrunner way of just knocking down the pegs, coming over here, get the key, and walk back up. Perfectly safe play. Sometimes that bomb clip can be a little tricky. So
yeah,
it makes perfect sense.
The bomb one is a little precise. The Samaria setups are very easy, certainly, and I don't doubt that these runners know the bomb setups as well. But they can be a little bit precise, and if you miss it, then you're to the point where you're getting close to the move losing time rather than gaining it.
Oh yeah. If you spend any more than 2 attempts on the bomb check, then you've wasted time. As we're going to be getting our first left-hand side check here on the left side, thalane falling into that hole, seeing a singular chest, going to hook a shot over to the right-hand side, just finding a heart. Right-hand side, what would normally be the big key, is going to be for us today a red rupee. As Linlinlin progresses through at the front of Skullwoods, we know there's 1 more item left here. It's through the locked doors on the left-hand side. And unfortunately, it's not going to be any progression for Linlinlin.
Left side was indeed garbage, a full heart container, the only thing even remotely of note over there. Thalane also not doing that bomb setup in the back of, for diver down in the back of Swamp Palace, going to do this the intended way.
As Linlinlin's going to see that it's just a mirror shield on top of Bumper Ledge. Now, Linlinlin has the mirror, probably going to be checking Graveyard Ledge here. Thalane, doing this earlier, coming from the right-hand side, did not have the mirror, so routing in those boots checks, and without any sort of glove to kind of get them through, kind of orphaned it off.
And if you like those left side swamp chests, good news, we have the same thing in the flooded room chests, a heart container and a red rupee.
So what Linlinlin's going to be able to do here, if they remember, after Graveyard Ledge, we still haven't seen the back of Escape.
That's true. Or Catfish for that matter. You might see Lin make their way over there, but back Escape, it seems like a better idea here. I would say.
Yeah, you've got 2 items in the back of Escape. You're already over here. You can kind of orphan off Catfish and say, well, if that's the last place I'm going to look, oh well.
Yeah, so be it. But Lin saving that. Going back into here with the mirror. You might need to get back out of here in order to in order to be able to get to the left to the back escape. But no, Lin is headed over towards the east dark world and is gonna show us catfish here.
Yeah, nothing wrong with this. You can always just save and quit, put yourself at the sanctuary, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Lint's going to go pick up the sword, I think.
Oh, that makes sense too. It's good.
And then from here, you either take the portal back or you flute over to Swamp. To save and quit. I would imagine we're going to be checking the backside of Escape here.
Seems like that would make sense here. And there was a glove on Argus, looks like. So thalane has the first glove there. And we'll get his mitts over in Pod when he makes his way over there. thalane also going to pick up that sword on Lake Hylia Island, as Lin's going to show us the back of Escape.
The only thing of real interest that might be back here would be Red Cane.
Could be Boots, too.
Boots would be nice.
It's neither of those things.
Yeah.
Shows what we know.
Because even though we haven't checked to see what either medallion is, we've got two of them. We're essentially Red Cane away from probably our runners going go mode.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. We know Desert is a pendant, so the likelihood that we're going to need to get something off of that torch is low. That we would certainly that we'd need. But as we see our runners now making their way to do the big thing that their opponent has done that they haven't. Right, Lin headed over to Swamp Palace and thalane over into Pod. As we see some things that we've seen before, and as we approach the 1 hour mark, let's do a little reset. This is ALTTPR League playoff action here on SpeedGaming 5. This is game 2 of the series between Error 216, represented by thalane on the right-hand side of your screen, and Last Locationers, represented by Linlinlin over on the left side of your screen. Error 216 leads this matchup. It's best of 5 series, 1 game to none. So thalane start trying to put the hammer down on Last Locationers and put them into a real tough spot before game 3, which is scheduled for at some point in the next. I looked this up. At some point in the next 24 hours, we're looking at the next match for these teams. This is the Courage match, which means that this is a pretty vanilla, open 7-7 defeat Ganon kind of seed here. No other weird settings going on.
Yeah, these two teams fighting to see who would represent the Misery Mire division out of the Dark World Conference. Then they're going to be matching up against an opponent somewhere within that Dark Conference, and we've got what is it? Counting this week, we've got the division, then we got the championship. So we've got 3.5 more weeks of Team Randomizer racing for you across the SpeedGaming network. Make sure you go to the ALTTPR League.com to see where you can find your favorite team and runners and when they're going to be competing through these playoffs.
Yeah, the winning team in this matchup will face the winning team between Team Awesome and Hime, the other matchup on this side of the bracket.
Yeah, when we're getting into this nitty-gritty of the playoffs here, every single matchup is a must-watch. If you love Randomizer and you love Link to the Past, now is no better time to tune in and watch some great, great action.
And at this point, every race is going to be hype in one way or another. Really, really fun to watch all season A, but definitely is going to be very fun over the next couple weeks here as we round out season 2 of the ALTTPR League.
As we see thalane do the same thing that Linlinlin decided to do. Go right to Helmosaur after checking the right-hand side. Going to be dipping back in afterward to find an ice rod in the dark maze.
And those Titan's mitts in the big chest as well.
Yep. As Linlinlin's going to find that they're going to have a compass here in the compass chest of Swamp Palace, which means they're going to be heading left.
You certainly could. We'll see. That's the, you find the first 3 chests you open have the big key, the compass, and the map. You're guaranteed to have 2 items over there on the left-hand side. Lin is going to head left here and follow that logic. So no time lost there. Thalane did the same thing.
Yes, Linlinlin looks like they're going to be setting up the bomb. It's not an exploit or glitch where if you wait for that bomb to go off, you can kind of zone in here and wait a second and wait for it to queue on through the pegs. And it looks like we're going to be getting that diver down clip from Linlinlin.
Misses it the first time here. There we go. There's the second time. Confuse the game into what layer you're on. When you come in this room, then the switch hits from the bomb. You can pick up the key, come out of the water, jump back in, swim on over. No backtracking. So Lin actually going to make up a little bit of time on Thalane here. Not very much, but still some.
Yeah, approximately a second and a half or so, since the first attempt was a fail. But as you were saying when we were watching Thalane go through the normal randomizer way of doing that with hookshot, 1.5 seconds between these 2 high-end runners, that could be the difference.
You never know. These guys are very, very close right now, I have to say, as Thalane setting up a little pre-hammer yump there, clipping around.
I've never seen that before.
I've never seen it in a race before. I've definitely seen it. But that was pretty good. This race is very, very close. It's very, very even right now. They've basically done exactly the same things. They are going to be making their way out here. I think Thalane is going to be up by just a little bit, but it's like a matter certainly less than a minute either way, and honestly, it could be less than that. So we'll see. This is going to be a close race coming out of these dungeons here.
Yeah, the big difference was the 3 falls from Linlinlin on Moldorm. Otherwise, that's probably what, a 45 to a minute head lead for Linlinlin if you don't take those falls. Just sometimes that Moldorm is a jerk.
And then, but Lin is probably making up a lot of that time here doing these divers down in Swamp Palace that Thalane opted not to do. So looks like Thalane is going to be out of pod just about a minute or so faster than Linlinlin is out of Swamp. It's going to be very close here. We'll see where Thalane is headed. I would imagine that Ice Palace or the Misery Mire area would be in Thalane's thoughts here.
Yeah, I'd be heading over to Misery. You've got the desert checks you can loop in. You've got checkerboard you can loop in.
Yeah, you hope to find the red cane before you go to Ice Palace, so you can do an icebreaker and make that a bit of a nicer visit as well.
And this gives you a medallion. Yeah, a medallion.
The one that we don't have.
Yeah, the one that we don't have. So we're 2 items away from go mode. That Quake medallion is somewhere. I would imagine after checking this, I might head up to Dark Death Mountain. That's you can go ahead and get that other bow while you're there. It's more checks than what you do or what you have here going forward. So it'll be interesting to see if Linlinlin decides to do that or do Mire.
We'll see if Thalane is going to dip into a Desert Palace here.
Be interesting to see if we have an item on the torch here. It would be awful if it was Red Cane or Quake. It's
it's
a big key.
So the kind of put that in the back of your minds, folks. So that's probably going to be, you see one item there. Well, we got our other item out of here. So Thalane is out of the desert palace there. The rest of it is going to be boots locked.
Yep, you got checkerboard here, and you can't do much in Mire, so...
Can't do anything in Mire.
Yeah. I would be... Ice Palace makes a whole bunch of sense, because it is a full clearable crystal dungeon.
I do like your thought of going up to Dark Death Mountain, though. As we see Buttersword, Thalane puts his nose up in the air. I don't need any Buttersword.
Especially since you know where the silver arrows are. Thalane heading into Ice Palace, again, makes sense. Death Mountain makes sense. This is the crystal play. Death Mountain would be the density play. And you just hope you know, wherever you go, the logic put whatever you need in front of you.
I probably would have picked up the Buttersword. It's nice. You got the mirror out. It's really quick to pick up. Does save you time on Trinex, as Illis has pointed out. So I might have picked that up there.
It does save you a little bit of time on Ganon as well. So, but I mean, the Ganon
especially if you're going to end up doing Silverless on Ganon, saves you a little bit, make that a little bit safer. But again, you know, these runners obviously are both really, really good at this. So they shouldn't have any trouble with these things that we're talking about.
As Thalane, without that red cane, is going to have to do the old-fashioned way from February 2020 of doing the IPBJ.
That's the Ice Palace bomb jump, if anybody from Twitch is watching. And nothing else.
Yeah, if you've never seen the Ice Palace bomb jump, if you've recently joined Randomizer because of community events going on recently in the last month and a half, the Ice Palace bomb jump is 2 pixel-perfect locations, except for the first one. You could be 2 or 3 pixels off. You line yourself up with these triangle tiles, drop a bomb, move approximately 4 pixels down, and you explode yourself right on over. Expertly done by Thalane, using that spin to kind of get yourself in the right pixel, drop the bomb, and move on down. As Linlinlin heads inside of Ice Palace as well. Has that gold sword, going to have a little bit of an easier cold stare fight if, you know, you don't want to use the fire rod.
To Mizzlemere over there in the chat, there is a new way. If you have the Cane of Samaria, you can do what the community calls the Icebreaker glitch in the room with the vanilla big key chest. You can head over there, right through the switch room with the pen gators in it, the room directly to the right of where Lynn is right now, and use that Cane of Samaria to clip through that big barrier, thereby completely eliminating the need for the Ice Palace bomb jump. Unfortunately, neither of our runners has the Cane of Samaria here, so not an option for them today.
So yeah, what you do?
But that was just allowed by the Racing Council in like week 2 or 3 of the league. So it is still relatively new, but it has become it has really shaken up the Ice Palace meta for sure.
So to kind of explain what you do for that icebreaker, if you're familiar with door states, you know, in Link to the Past, if you kind of walk through a doorway, it kind of pulls you automatically like a magnet. And so what you do is you use an exploit with the Cane of Samaria, which identifies you still being in the doorway, which allows you to move across the wall. And we did end up finding that red cane here inside of Ice Palace in the, I believe it was the hammer chest with the switch where the big Staphoses are.
I believe that's where it was. Which, an unbelievably rude placing for that.
So we are now just Quake away from Go Mode. As Linlinlin here is going to be progressing over and checking the Freezor chest first. Thalane deciding to go through this north room here and fall down to do the hookshot lock stuff. But with that small key, you're able just to kind of cross right on over and hookshot yourself over. Thalane's going to be checking to see what's inside of Iced Tea here, as Linlinlin is going to be checking and getting their red cane here momentarily. Looks as though the last item is going to be on Cold Stare, and there is that red cane.
So yeah, we're a quick medallion away from Go Mode here, and at 1 hour 12 minutes into the seed, we shall see where we find that last Quake medallion. We will need that to get into Misery Mire. We don't know what we need to get into to Turtle Rock. Could also be Quake. For our runner's sake, let's hope it is Quake, because then they can just leave Turtle Rock until the last second.
Yeah, outside of this, there's not much left either of our runners can do. We do have Jeremiah Loop with the Frog, Hammer Pegs, and Chesty. We have Dark Death Mountain. And if we happen to find the boots, we will have Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb to check as well.
Neither of our runners has been in Eastern Palace yet either, so
yeah.
You never know. Thalane with an excellent quick kill on Cold Stare. No trouble at all. A big 20, the last item here in Ice Palace. I would imagine Thalane now is going to head up towards Dark Death Mountain. Because you've got, if Turtle Rock, you've got the Hookshot Cave, you've got Super Bunny Cave, you got Spike Cave up there, and if Turtle Rock is Bombos or Ether, you can then full clear Turtle Rock as well.
And we also have those silver arrows on the floating island. Both of our runners have more than competent swords to do spin strats. So it'll be interesting to see if either of them take the gamble on maybe saving some time by picking up those silver arrows, though I think the time in walking over there, mirroring and walking back, that might just sink enough time to where spin strats are just as good.
Yeah, the difference that silvers get you is real small. If you are doing it competently. Thalane's going to show the back of Escape, which he hasn't been to, but we know is nothing important. So we'll see how Lin's Cold Stare fight goes.
With a Butter Sword and Fire Rod, quick. I would imagine quick.
Yep, pretty quick.
Alright, and with that, Linlinlin and Thalane have the same amount of crystals, have the same amount of dungeons cleared. Linlinlin approximately, I want to say, what, 7-8 seconds behind because of the animation of getting the crystal?
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty close there because, yep. Looks like Lin is going to be one Death Mountain screen behind Thalane here.
So, and luckily for Linlinlin, that might be the difference with having Butter Sword. So that Butter Sword play may be the thing that launches Linlinlin to kind of be equal at this point.
I mean, these two are essentially equal at this point.
Yeah.
You know, there's really not much of a difference at all. But this is a hype race, in case you hadn't noticed.
Thalane deciding to go ahead and look at Turtle Rock first. Linlinlin starting at the bottom, going through Super Bunny Cave. So we're going to have a virtual high five here momentarily, I would imagine, as it is Ether to open up Turtle Rock, so that allows us to get our first red crystal of the seed inside of a Terrapin's home. Thalane Going into Turtle Rock first. Interesting.
Yeah, normally I feel like you would go do that, then hop down, check out Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave, and then go through Turtle Rock. But, you know, it's 6 to 1, half a dozen the other. It's pretty close.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're going, okay, well, if my Gomo item is in that anyway, well, I'm going to be clearing out most of Turtle Rock, you know, unless I get super lucky and get 2 small keys here on the right-hand side.
Yeah, it's not, like, pretty rare that you're going to be able to skip much of anything in Turtle Rock, so not really a big deal. Hookshot Cave is a bust. Lynn is going to go pick up those silvers, interestingly.
That will make the victories fight a little bit easier for Linlinlin. We know we got to do it, so tempered and dashing with cape is, you know, it's a little bit slower. It's still pretty good to do, but silvers, you just kind of spam 8, 9 arrows and then 2 more and you're good.
And I will say, he needed to mirror back to the light world anyway. Actually, no, this kind of adds mirrors. So he's going to have to mirror back over here anyway, so that doesn't really matter. Nice full magic drop from the Pokey there. It's nice.
As we get the most annoying room. Oh no. Oh no,
Ooh, that was close.
Chomps are sure.
Yo.
Thalane just barely getting that potion off as he got clipped by the chain chomp. That was a pause buffer. That
was damn close, is what that was.
We'll see if Thalane decides to use some powder and get a safety lady in his bottle. I doubt it. You've got 12 hearts. You've got blue mail. You're good to go. That was a key
there. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately a key for a key, but when you're 1 item away, you gotta give it a peek. We'll see if Thalane decides to head into Mimic Cave. There's literally no better time to do it. Oh, good pokey RNG. Just unfortunately not getting the spin on that second one right off, but... Butter with silvers, with tempered and a Ganon fight does save you a little bit of time. It's 6 swipes versus 12 with tempered, or 6 spins, and then it's 4 arrows versus 12 spins.
It's just not as much time as you think, is the thing.
Yeah, it's approximately 20 seconds if you're able to get the spins off accurately. Somewhere in there, it's not like it's a whole 2 minutes. But there are people who can do a 3 arrow hit Ganon after a torch and 1 arrow, which is astounding. So...
Yeah, you need good reflexes and some RNG luck for that, for sure.
But yeah, where the silvers and where the gold sword is going to matter here is in a Trinex fight. It's 5 swings with the tempered sword versus 3 for butter, so you can 0 cycle Trinex with butter, where you can basically only do a 1 cycle at best with tempered.
I think you need the boots to get that 0 cycle on Trinex, though.
Yeah.
Oh, you can do it with butter if you don't have the boots. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it with butter without the boots. You could do it with tempered with the boots, but you have to be very fast.
Oh, Frame was saying Argus and not Trinex. I misheard that. Yeah, you can't zero cycle Trinex unless you have the boots.
Yeah, the best you can do with Tempered on Trinex is that one cycle you can kill the ice head just as it starts to dive at you with its main primary head. Yeah, that's going to be where the real difference in silvers is going to come in. Thalane's going to have a quick Vitreous fight with Cape and Tempered, but Linlinlin is going to be able to do a zero cycle with silvers on Vitreous.
And Thalane very well might pick up the silvers anyway. They're very close.
Yeah. I would imagine if Quake's not on Trinex, he's heading to go do them anyway, so...
How's Quake and Eastern Palace looking?
Yeah, that's tough. Eastern being, you know, Sphere 1 all the way up through Armos is pendant. It's not green pendant, so even when you get the bow, it's not attractive. You had better density and better crystal placement. That's just rough.
I think that if I had been Thalane and I had been over there with the mirror, honestly, I probably would have dove in. I probably would have dove in as we just get a map off of Trinex. We'd already gotten all of the items there. But I probably would not have been able to resist going into Eastern after finishing Pod since I had the mirror. You know, it's definitely not. You want to be able to skip it if you can, for sure.
Yep. What about Boots in Eastern and then Desert having green pendant and Quake?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, the boots are really the boots and the shovel are the only thing that we can find that can unlock anything else. So.
Yeah, and you really don't want to see either of those.
Well, I think you'll like to see the boots no matter what. But you're right. At this point in the seed, you're like, yeah, you know, you've done most of your walking around at this point. Blaine, silvers are up on Floating Island.
Nice. Samaria strats there to hit the switch from Linlinlin.
I love that. I'm always surprised that more people don't do that one. It's so easy. It's free. It looks swag. It's great. I love it.
Oh, that's kind of why people really don't do it, is that it doesn't really save you anything.
I don't know. It's so easy.
I think even with boots, it saves you, what, 20-something frames or thereabouts?
I like it because it's safe. You know, I feel like I see people trying to do other strats there and getting hit by the pokey or an anti-fairy or something like that and having to do it again. But you know, whatever. Blaine picks up those silver arrows, going to head over towards Spike Cave as Lynn is finishing up Turtle Rock. So this race is about as close as it can get, everybody, as we are looking for that Quake medallion for Go mode. Will the answer be Spike Cave right?
Yeah, right now the difference is going to be which way our runners route GT. If there's a divergence there, it's going to be close.
Difference, yep.
No, butter in GT really doesn't do you too much, especially since we have silver arrows. It would save you a little bit of time if your opponent doesn't really do Fire Rod Lambolas, but Silver Arrows kind of negates that, and Butter Sword kind of negates that.
Thalane going to show us the Smith's Chain here after Spike Cave coming up empty. Another opportunity for some divergence between our runners.
Let's see where Linlinlin decides to go. It looks like we're going to Eastern.
Or Catfish.
Or Catfish.
We can have Vanilla Quake. What would that be like?
That's an orphan check over here. Is do you do Eastern first, or do you Catfish Flute over to Eastern and then be good? I think that's what I would do.
You do the latter. You get rid of Catfish here, because if you if this is Quake, you don't even need to go into Eastern. So neither of our runners has been up here to see Catfish. We thought that one of them, I don't remember which one of them it was, but whichever one of them.
I think it was Linlinlin.
Whenever one checked Graveyard Ledge and then went down to get the sword and go into Pod instead of checking Catfish.
Yeah, that was Linlinlin who decided to check Graveyard, jumped down, and then went and did get the sword to go, then do Swamp Palace, I think.
Yeah, Palace Darkness maybe at that point.
All right, what does our second friendly fish face friend have us for today? We've got ourselves a piece of art.
So no Vanilla Quake today. Where is Lynn headed next as Thalane turns in the swamps? Or turns in the swamps, the Smiths. Lynn is doing the same thing. There's another bottle. Got Dwarf and Glass Blowers here. We continue. Mirror and Flute make this purple chest trade in very quick.
What if, and hear me out, boots are in that purple chest?
I'm not even going to answer that because they weren't there. So, Eastern Palace? No, Thalane is going to go check Catfish now, and is going to give back the time that he just picked up on Lynn. Quake and Eastern Palace. I'm calling it. That's where we are here. It's either Quake or the boots or the shovel, leading to Quake. So we'll see what we're doing here.
We definitely know it's not Ped. That was just Couch Cash. So wherever this Quake may be, it's not there. So
we have been to Desert Palace, but we got one item out of there. It is boots locked. So Thalane is going to check Graveyard Ledge first, which is another thing that Linlinlin did and that he did not do.
Again, makes perfect sense here. You can go ahead and then just jump right on over to the Catfish, and I would imagine after doing the Smith Chain and Graveyard Ledge, we're going to be basically synced up between these runners.
Yeah, it's going to be awfully close here. After they got out of Turtle Rock, they did the same things and swapped and just did them in a different order here. So this race is still ridiculously close here.
Yeah, Linlinlin looking here is going to be slightly ahead, as Thalane has to go through 2 more screen transitions and an animation. Linlinlin here going right to Eastern.
Which, as we know, has been available from the start. Both of our runners did AGA 1 before even looking at Eastern Palace. So, here we go. As
we get Linlinlin entering in at 131.43. Thalane's not going to be far behind. Probably going to be about 30 seconds behind, I would say.
Yeah, somewhere around there, looks like.
First check of Eastern is the big key. So we're going to be able to check that chest as we're walking by it. As it looks like it's about 40 seconds worth of difference between these two runners. This is a GT routing error, a fall, a Ganon death away from being step for step.
Yeah, really, like, the fact that Lin is really the only difference between these guys. Lin is ahead despite 3 Moldorm falls. You know, this is a heck of a race, I gotta say. This has been a lot of fun to watch. Where is this quick medallion? What is the answer here? Both of our runners probably feel real bad about this right now, not knowing that the other runner did exactly the same thing in putting off Eastern Palace. There's our Quake medallion.
There's Quake!
Lin at 1 hour and 33 minutes and about 10 seconds is in go mode.
And Thalane's going to be approximately 30 seconds behind that. This is a Maya routing, a GT routing kind of difference in a seed right now.
Yeah, will we have a Godmire here? If not, then where is that big key? What order do our runners check those chests in? That could make a difference here as well.
Yeah, 1:33:47. Thalane enters go mode.
So about 45 seconds or so, 35 seconds or so between our runners.
So I would imagine we would see some very, very, very spooktacular action from both of our runners should we get some good placement. Even without the boots, you can do the spooky action.
This is definitely something that I want to learn, not because it saves you a whole ton of time, because it doesn't, but because it looks really rad. That's all.
Hey, if Linlinlin doesn't do spooky and Thalane does, that gap all of a sudden now is approximately 20 seconds.
First chest is a small key. The dream is alive.
Linlinlin being safe here, finding a second small key here in the chest. Thalane deciding to check this chest first.
It's never a Godmire when you want it to, when you need it to be.
Will be interesting to see if he decides to go down or up here.
He'll go up. But,
Finding the bad news that the small key is here in this overhang bridge. Linlinlin deciding to go through with the left side checks. Thalane could big brain this, do the 2 right-hand checks here with the switch and that small key door.
You're right there, though. You know, you're right there. You may as well do it at the very least that first firelock chest, then come out here.
Thalane, big braining it. We're going to get a high five here between our runners. There they go. They high-fived, saying hello.
Linlinlin wants no part of that cutscene chest. Going to do everything else in here before doing the vanilla big key chest.
See if it pays off. There's the big key. in what I like to call a demigod mire.
I like that. Oh no, and Thalane is gonna go do the vanilla big key chest, giving Lin, I think, the biggest lead. We'll give Lin the biggest lead that either runner has had in this entire race.
Yeah, as we were basically synced going through Aga Tower, we had some divergence. Thalane deciding to go up and do Dark Village first. Linlinlin deciding to do Pod, getting that Ice Rod and gloves earlier. Thalane getting that Mirror and Fire Rod earlier. And there's that spooky action. Throw that Ice Rod down, switch over to Red Cane real fast, put down a block, and you're good to go. So I've never seen it done from the bottom.
Gets the first switch.
And Thalane getting the bad news. Going left was not the best idea. Can't blame him, though.
Lin gets the third. Lin gets the second chest, or the second switch. And there's the third.
Now, even with silvers, 3.5 hearts is still kind of working dangerously.
That's why you see Lin pull that powder out, and powder the anti-fairy right there.
Those eyeballs can still be jerks if you miss an arrow and one decides to get you at the right angle.
Like that one right there did, yeah. With a very clean 0 cycle Vitreous. That's 7 crystals. You all know what that means. It's time for the Ganon's Tower Big Key guessing game. There are 22 locations in the basement of Ganon's Tower. Put it in chat. If you guess correctly, you win the most important thing in the entire world, imaginary internet points.
Thalane's able to get that second spooky glitch off without a hitch. Gonna be saving a little bit of time compared to Linlinlin, but that big key routing right now is a big difference.
That's really what this race is going to come down to. Big key routing here in GT, and execution going up the gauntlet and on the Agatu and Ganon fights. Thalane, even with the silver arrows, is going to do a kind of spin strat anyway. And of course, we're not totally out of the woods yet, as Irish Shiny points out in the chat here. That Ganon's Tower Big Key could still be on Bob's Torch, in which case we would need the boots. We have not found those.
But if we were to take out percentiles as to what percent it could be, it is a 3-point-something% chance that it's on there.
One, you pick your joke. Either never tell me the odds, or still you're saying there's a chance. You can, either joke is fine. Get those last minute guesses in. The guessing game will close as soon as Linlinlin enters Ganon's Tower.
I like seeing Bob, so I always guess 15.
I guess 10, because I like winning.
See, I'd like to say hello to Bob. Bob is a good friend of everyone.
$13 points will go to the winner. Lin heads into Hope Room first. There are some bombs. Check number 1. Check number 2 is a small key. Lin is not going to go to the right.
Yeah, the meta now is if you get 1 key right, you go left, and then if you have 3 keys after the Dark Magician room, you go back right.
I don't like doing Dark Magician. I don't know. It never seems to work out, for me at least. But
Lionels are hacking up Thalane badly.
Check 3 was that small key on Bob's torch. Here is 4. There is the big key. Chest number 4. Congratulations to Steel G101. You were closest with that guess of 5. A big key on 4, and you score 13 points. Congratulations to Steel G101.
Thalane going left first here, gonna be saving a little bit of time on Linlinlin. Will it be enough? No.
We'll find out. This is gonna be we're getting down to it. These are two excellent runners. One tiny mistake here on execution, going up the gauntlet or against Ganon, could be the difference. But we're talking about less than a minute between these two runners going up the tower. What more could you possibly ask for in a race?
Thalane doing some extra checks here. I think he was looking for a small key.
He's got one, though, so he'll be okay. Just have to kill a mini Helmosaur here.
Yeah, not much of a time loss there.
Lin with the butter sword and the fire rod, making quick work of the gauntlet. RNG being his friend here.
And we are through the gauntlet right now. We got Land Molas 2. Then we have the two most satisfying rooms in all of Rando Entertainment, Wizrobes 1 and 2 after that.
Those are my favorite rooms. They're so good. Lin not quite getting the zero cycle there, mistiming the silver arrows a little bit. Gold sword lets you recover very nicely though.
See, my favorite room is that Staphos room in Ice Palace where you fall into it. You just move a pot, put a bomb down, move down, throw a pot, and, they're dead.
That one's good, too. I gotta say, you don't normally... You basically can't see a gauntlet cleaner than the one that Linlinlin put together on his way up the tower. We saw Thalane take a little bit more time, see if they can get it back here with the silvers against Landmo. No. Does land one of those silver arrows there, though.
Linlinlin had a little bit of a hard time with those, I think they're moblins or goblins. I always forget if they change them up per game. As they have their pitchforks and they like to poke you in the butt.
Linlinlin got close to running out of time there in the torch room, I gotta say, but had trouble getting around one of those pots, but was able to get through before the torches go out. Headed for a date with Moldorm 2. Now, if you joined us late, Lin had a little bit of trouble with Moldorm 1. Took 3 falls there, hoping for some revenge on Moldorm 2 here.
This time you don't have to use your hammer. You can do 2 gold swipes and you're good to go.
There it is. Some sweet, sweet redemption.
As Motorhead would put it, some sweet revenge. Without boots, you gotta kind of walk up this second hallway here with conveyor belts, ice, mini Helmosaurs that are aggro as all can be. But then you get to fight a wizard. Are you ready to do some math problems, guys?
I'm not. I'm always really impressed with people who have really clean Agatus, because mine are just a dumpster fire every time.
That's a nice little double there.
Down my land.
One singular blue ball. Of course, the RNG for both of our runners is going to be the same no matter what. And there,
1-1-2 there for Lin, and we're gonna let's go fight a big pig, shall we?
Let's make some bacon. as thalane is just 2 rooms behind and Nagafight. Now, when I like to race, I like to have my chat guess how many trolliports we get from Ganon. In the chat, guess how many trolliports we're going to get as we get a nice triple from thalane on that first round. Gets a double. He's going to save himself 1 extra phase here if he's able to get this off. We do know a blue ball is coming. Nah, just misses it. As we get a fast phase 1 and 2 from Linlinlin with that buttery bacon on that pig. 1 trolliport. 2 trolliports. 3 trolliports. There's number 4. There's number 5. There's number 6. There's number 7. At this point, I would have just fallen off and hoped for better RNG the next time. 7 teleports in total for a troll. There's a swing. There's an arrow shot. Gets the lamp glitch. Nope, just barely missing it. Nice single arrow. 1 more. Gonna be lighting these torches 1 more time. And with that, Linlinlin of Last Locationers is going to even this playoff series best of 5 1-1 with a victory over thalane with an official time SRL of... Give it to me, Salt.
It is 1 hour, 48 minutes, 45 seconds. Get your GGs in chat for Linlinlin and the Last Locationers as thalane into phase 3 now.
We will have both runners here for an interview once thalane finishes up, which should be momentarily here. Oh, nice save there on the triple from thalane. 1 cycling phase 4 Ganon. He's got that sword in the air. He's going to finish this seed out with an SRL official time of...
1 hour, 49 minutes, 41 seconds. A grand total of 56 seconds separating both of our runners. So GG's to thalane. We are joined right now by Linlinlin in the booth here. GG.
GG's.
And by thalane. GG thalane.
Hey, GG's, man.
GG's. What a seed.
Yeah. Also, mistakes were made with that gold sword, I guess.
No, the difference was Meyer big key routing. You, thalane, went to go do the cutscene chest. Linlinlin went right after checking the switch chest on the left-hand side. That was it.
Yeah, you guys were within like 20 seconds of each other the entire race. And then that little bit of lead that Lynn opened up ended up holding through to the end. It was dang close. Was that the Misery Mire routing is what it ended up.
I'm actually surprised you didn't go to Easter.
Yeah, same. I mean, like the entire race, I was like, man, if he went to Eastern and Quake is like in there, I don't know how he's like not done yet, right?
No,
it's
it's funny.
These checks, right?
Both of you decide to do Aga without going into Eastern and had to be thinking, you know, as you get into the seed, had to be thinking, I would imagine, there's no way that the other guy skipped Eastern Palace. Like, if there's something in there, I've already lost. Is that a thought that went through your heads at all?
Of course, I mean, like, until you get the mids, that play is really, really sensible. Is there a glove here? Is there something that leads to a glove here? Is there, like, anything? And when the mids came from, I mean, Argus, there was a way that could have been your glove, by the way, with sequence breaking the the flipper so early, but still, like when you get them, you're like, okay, that was a good play. That's a very good play. I avoided something, but hey, nope, there's still something in Eastern.
Yeah.
That's where we kind of saw our first divergence between you two in this race. Was after AGA 1, Thalane, you decided to go up and around to the Dark Village. Linlinlin, you decided to go ahead and do pod, where you found that ice rod and that pair of gloves. That may have saved a little bit of time for you, because once you have gloves, it's just easier Dark World access, a little bit easier routing. But for this race to be as close as it was, with Lynn, you fell 3 times to Moldorm in Tower of Hera for you to pull it out. That was really, really well done.
I was really nervous. Like, Thalane, he's a great guy. He's a great player, and like, of course, I was very, very nervous throughout the whole race. And
Thanks.
my execution was, thank you. My execution was not. Was a bit lower than I used to play that game, but yeah, in the end, I still made it, so I'm happy about it. It was a great game, even though the seed was kind of trash, I would say.
Yeah, I think skipping Eastern wasn't too far out of this world, right? So like, otherwise I would have gone in there. I think like when I got the mids out of pod big chest, I was like, okay, not going to Eastern now, because like the entire map opened up, right? I think if it wasn't mids in there, I would have like continued into Eastern. So that could have been a difference. But then I was like, okay, that's like everything open now. Let's check medallions and see what we can do from here.
Right. At that point, you're kind of balancing density of checks, right, and versus like, this is never going to be. You had the mirror at that point, Thalane, and Lynn didn't when he was over at Pod. So it wasn't gonna. You're balancing this. Look, there's a lot more checks that just opened up with these Titans mitts, but at the same time, right, I'm over here. It's never going to get faster or easier to go into Eastern Palace and check those chests. That's a difficult decision to make.
Yeah, I mean, it was like Maya area, like the surroundings were open at least, right? Like maybe even going into Maya was a possibility at that moment, because we didn't know yet. And ice was full clearable. There was like Smith's Chain. There was all of like Dark Death Mountain, right? I mean, I didn't have Kane yet, but like even just Hookshot Cave, Spike Cave, and what's they call Super Bunny Cave. I think that's like very good options compared to like a Pendant Eastern that I like postponed for so long already. So you kind of have to stick with it, right? I think.
Right, yeah.
Like in my mind, it didn't make any sense to go there like ever. I mean, the only time you could have gone there was like pre-AGA.
Yeah.
And if you don't go there, you just never come back, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Especially in a 1v1. Like, the main decider for me not going to Eastern is actually not having a glove. Because I don't want to go around, just go to Eastern. I was like, no, I'm just going to AGA.
Yeah, so go ahead.
I was say, going forward, these two teams are now tied 1 versus 1. Now it's turned into a best of 3 series. Coming up, you've got your teammates running against one another. What kind of matchups, as you're going forward in this best of 3 now, are you kind of looking forward to?
We actually haven't thought about it, especially when Goomba lost yesterday. Like, I mean, Earth to 16 is definitely a really great team, like champion material for sure. So, like, especially when the one we consider our best player, Goomba, lost to Eri, we're kind of like, how can I put it? Like,
you need that win before you want to start thinking too far ahead, right? You lose that first game, maybe in a game that you think you had the best chance to win. You're like, all right, well, let's take this one game at a time. Other sports cliches. Let's get our win before we get too far ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we also haven't thought about like who's gonna play game 4 or something yet. And I mean, like from a neutral standpoint, I think this is like a very good matchup. Both teams are like super stacked in my opinion. So This is like super scary for us too. So it's not like we're thinking, hey, let's stomp these guys or something. It's like really scary actually. I mean, you see this is like under a minute, right? And this is kind of what Rando does to you. even if some would say that we have like maybe better execution or not, I don't know. But it's like you don't know, man. It's just so random, I guess, right?
Yeah, this is a hype matchup between these two teams, and you're not going to want to miss it. Game 3 is scheduled for tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, 6:10 p.m. Eastern time. We don't know what channel that will be, but that will be Illis versus Blaine there for Game 3.
Well, thank you very much for the race today, Linlinlin and thalane. GG's. Good luck going forward in the playoffs, and hope you bring the championship home for the Mystery Mire division.
Thanks, Sid.
Yeah, thank you. And GG's, Linlin. I guess you're the cuter boy. And thank you guys for the restream and commentary and all that.
Yeah,
it was our pleasure, I'm sure. Make sure you give these guys a follow. Their Twitch handles are in chat. Wimpy, any last words for us?
Just remember, race fans, we have a triple header coming up on SpeedGaming Networks tonight, 8:10 Eastern. We have Fendera Drifters versus the Titans Mitts. At 9:10, we have Pug Trio versus Clown Parade. 10:10, Double Dippers versus CLW. Across SpeedGaming, SpeedGaming 2, and SpeedGaming 6. Make sure you check out the ALTTPRleague.com/schedule to see exactly what channels those are going to be on. And as you said, tomorrow we've got 3 races lined up so far, including the rematch between these two. Thank you very much to our tracker, Enkir, for doing the hard grunt work of all of these commentating scenes.
Yeah, thanks to Enkir for pushing the buttons behind the scene. And also, if you are hurting for more rando action right now, there are 2 also pretty hype races going on right now over on SpeedGaming 2. We have Fear Agent versus Will J. Bradley, Team Kappa versus WJP-TVB. And also over on SpeedGaming 4, we've got Act the Boca versus Wall Kicks. That's Team Faraime will get an interview if we win versus Op Get Good. Those are 2 awesome races as well. So hop over there. SpeedGaming 2, SpeedGaming 4, respectively. So thanks everybody for watching today. Hope you enjoyed. GG once again to thalane and Linlinlin. Thank you to Worldwide Wimpy for doing this with me. And my name is Tyler Saul. Good night, and we'll see you next time.